College coaches will always talk about how you have to run the ball to be successful in this league. Yet you guys are winning games and not being able to run the ball. How has he been able to do that? Have you been able to do that?
I think one of Coach Mullen's things is just to play to our strengths, and I think passing the ball has been obviously one of our strengths this season, and I think him and his staff has done a great job of using that to our advantage, and using the athletes we have, and really focusing on the passing game and how that can help us.
And FSU has won 4 games in a row here in the Swamp. Is that kind of hard to fathom, a team doing that?
The past is the past, honestly, and we're just focused on this game. Those are obviously past teams with different players and different coaches, and on Saturday it's a new team, and we're going to be ready to go.
You came in with Freddie and Josh in that class. What's it like to see those guys going through their last week of game prep and getting ready for senior day?
It kind of just opens your eyes as to how fast all this that 4 years goes, because those guys they made impact as soon as they got here. They didn't redshirt, and it kind of just opens your eyes as to not taking any days for granted, because I've been through the grind with them for 4 years, and you think it's never going to end, and then those are the guys who came in with, and half of them are leaving. So it kind of, I would say, it's very eye-opening and very humbling.
What kind of impact have they had just helping turn the offense around?
I think they've been great leaders all season. They've done a great job of picking guys up and making a great impact on the field. They're definitely smart guys that the younger guys can count on if they have any questions, and overall just been great leaders, and I've been really proud of just how they've worked and how our team's worked so far around them this whole season.
Because this is a senior class, obviously, that's some from the I think 15 and 16 recruiting classes, but what they've done, can you talk about what they've done and to kind of get Florida football back on the right track?
I think it's just, we don't dwell on the negatives of, obviously the big down point in our college career was obviously all the coaching changes, but I think we did a great job of, focusing on what we do have, and we do have great leaders, and we do have very talented players, and, I think that was it was such a good thing for when Coach Mullen came in here, because all of us just bought into what he was preaching, and so far it's been very successful, and we just want to keep this thing going.
Pat brought up wrongly that it's your last press conference. Just how different has all the other stuff outside of football been for you this year? Press conferences, doing phone calls with all the other stuff you have to handle as being the starting quarterback.
It's definitely been a lot compared to what I've been used to the past couple of years, but I've kind of learned how to, because obviously there's less time because there's more stuff to do, and it's kind of just made me a better time manager, I think, and just made me really growing up quicker because there's more stuff to do, and the goal is just to keep getting better and keep it going.
Probably didn't know a ton about the Florida State rivalry growing up, but what have you learned about it since you've been here, and what does this game mean to the team, and also what do you know that it means to the fan base?
Yeah, I know it's, I grew up in Texas. Obviously, I wasn't a huge Florida fan because, I grew up, both my parents were Aggies, so big thing in my household was the, Texas Longhorns and the A&M rivalry. So when I come here, it's like the same thing, except it's Florida State. So I know a lot about, big college rivalry games. And, ever since I've gotten here, obviously no one from Florida likes Florida State and vice versa. So I know it's a huge game for us. But, for our team, it's just, for us, our biggest thing is just to stay focused on, keep all the outside noise, out of the locker room and things like that, and just focus on getting the win.
Yeah, these senior receivers, how much have they helped you this season just adjust? They're obviously really know the offense and the game.
Well, yeah, obviously, coming in early on in the season, just being thrown in there, it's good to have those senior leader guys that you know, there's already a lot going on when you get thrown in like that, and just to have those guys that you can really count on them to know what they're doing. So that's another thing you don't got to worry about. You know they're going to be in the right places at the right time and know all their routes and get open and things like that.
What would it mean to be the kind of state champ? I mean, I guess all three teams don't play each other very regularly anymore, but would that mean something to this program?
For sure. You know, that's what our goal is this Saturday. You know, is win the state. That's what we want to do every year. You know, that's the culture around here. That's the Gator standard, is to be the best team in the state of Florida. And, you know, like I said, that's our goal, to be victorious on Saturday and just get that going.
You've had a handful of quarterback coaches here. How is Brian Johnson different?
I think what he brings to the table is, you know, his experience in playing on the big stage, you know, playing big plays, big-time college football like he did when he played. And I think when he talks to us, it's very relatable and easy for us to grasp onto, just because he's been there and, you know, he's seen it all. So it's just very helpful to have him as a quarterback coach.
Mullen said he and Johnson's styles can be a little bit different. You know, they coach the same, but their personality is different. How are they different?
I would say, you know, they kind of balance each other out at times. You know, Coach Johnson, I feel like, is a little more laid back, and, you know, Coach Mullen's kind of just always, you know. But, you know, Coach Johnson's a great coach, and, you know, he gets fired up all the time too, so that's not what I'm trying to say. But I just think they work really well together.
And then Mullen mentioned last week that the meetings have started with the guys that are eligible for the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
What are those meetings like, and how are those conversations go, and what all do you weigh and consider?
You know, Coach Mullen just wanted to bring all those eligible guys into the team room and just inform them on how the process works, you know, whether you want to leave or not. You know, just so he could let everybody know, you know, how it works and the consequences of doing one route versus the other, and just to really inform us and let us know.
What are you personally weighing?
I'm sorry?
What are you personally weighing when you look at it?
Oh, and like my personal decision? I mean, I still have a whole nother year here, so I don't plan on leaving. But it's great to, you know, just be informed. I'm glad Coach Mullen does that, just to let us all know how it all works.
Kyle, when you think about it, you started the season, your first home game here at Florida, you were the backup quarterback, and now you go into the final game of the season, you're the starting quarterback who's had enormous success as a starter. When you think about that, does it kind of seem dreamlike or surreal or whatever like that?
Yeah, I think, you know, that's been like a lot of questions I've been asked this season, and I think my biggest focus when it comes to that process is to, you know, just, you know, stay focused on my personal goals and the team goals, and, you know, that is to win games. And if I were to, you know, sit back and think about what I've done or what the team's done, then I think that would kind of hinder my, you know, progression. I think if I just got to make sure I stay locked in, and that way I can keep getting better every day.
Also, how important is it to go this season undefeated here at the Swamp?
You know, like I said before, that's the Gator standard. That's what we want to do. You never want to lose in the Swamp. We expect to win every single home game. And, you know, that's what we expect to do on Saturday. And, you know, we're going to have a great game plan to be ready to go.
Kyle, what about this team has been different that's allowed you guys to potentially go from 10 wins to maybe 11 wins?
I think it's just another season under Coach Mullen and his staff. You know, when he came in last year, it was, you know, pretty much a complete culture change just to get us all on board with, you know, what he preaches. And I think, you know, we all did that last year, and now we're just kind of that was the foundation. Now we're just building levels on top of that. And, you know, our plan is just to keep that going this season and with the years continuing after this.
How much of that was just kind of the work you guys put in the offseason?
Yeah, you know, like I said, in previous times, I think, you know, Coach Mullen, he's a wonderful coach. He's a great coach, but I also think he hires a great staff. And with that being said, I think he puts a lot of focus and attention to detail and to the staff he brings on, because, you know, we're not with Coach Mullen every single day. We're with, you know, the other coaches he hires most of the time, like throughout the week, whether it be the strength staff or Coach Savage, things like that. And I just think it's really paying off for the coaches he's brought in, because they're just all been very tremendous coaches, and we've all been progressing with them very nicely.
Watching film of FSU, what do you take? What are your takeaways from it?
You know, they have a lot of great athletes. They have a lot to play for, and I think, you know, it is still Monday. We looked at a couple things last week during the bye week. We haven't dove in too far, but, you know, what I've seen is, you know, they have a lot of great athletes. Like I said, they still have a lot to play for, and we can't, you know, we have to treat them like we treat team every other week. You know, it's the same preparation process as any other team we're playing, so we're going to come out swinging just like every other week.
And how important are the fans on Saturday?
Oh, they're very important. You know, as far as, you know, I was talking about the Gator standard. You know, another part of the Gator standard is, you know, you want that to be the most feared college stadium. So the fans are definitely very important, and, you know, we want them to be loud and rocking, you know, get that place shaking. So, you know, they're just as important as anybody else in that stadium on game day.